The so-called plane that crashed into the Pentagon. It's odd, there's never any evidence shown for a plane in the Pentagon.
I object to the electoral votes of my beloved Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
We need to look at these late night spikes that took place in various states. We need to look at this video footage that we have of ballots being pulled out from underneath tables.
If we can do that and follow through on this audit, folks, if it's what I've been told, and I had people come to me early hours of the day after, from the Security Exchange Fraud Department to the CIA Fraud Department.
I still have to pick my jaw up from what Marjorie Taylor Greene said about the Pentagon and the plane on 9/11. Okay, those lawmakers you just heard spreading conspiracies and misinformation, they are playing major roles in the new Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Scott Perry, Lauren Boebert, Paul Gosar, all placed on key committees, including the House Oversight Committee. The assignments for Greene and Gosar come after Democrats stripped both of them from their committees in 2021. Joining me now is Michael Singleton, political strategist and host of Bigger Than Politics on SiriusXM, and Kurt Bardella, Democratic strategist and former GOP spokesperson for the House Oversight Committee. Jaw-dropping, right, guys? I mean, it's extraordinary when you listen to these people. But I want to draw on your experience, first of all, Kurt, your Oversight Committee experience, a spokesperson for the Republicans there. Give me a sense of what you think is in store for the committee's work and potential results now that steadfast election deniers are on it.
Well, I think that you're going to see kind of that continuation of this embrace of conspiracy theory. And now they're going to use the structure of the Oversight Committee, the power, the authority, and the legitimacy of congressional oversight to try to make those fantastic claims more realistic. They're going to use things like subpoenas and depositions and the headlines that those activities generate to try to cleanse their conspiracy theory and make it look like there's a there, even though there isn't. You're going to see this pattern develop where they're going to make bombastic accusations.
But Kurt, but you say there's no there, so there isn't. So this is just going to be a big waste of time, right? I mean, they're never going to be able to put this into a context that is believable or truthful. Right?
Well, that's not the goal of the Oversight Committee under these Republicans. Truth and fact, that's not the point. What they want is the charge being worse than the actual facts. They want to make sure that they can lead with the accusation and then try to conduct an investigation that will bear some fruit. It's completely backwards to how you're supposed to conduct oversight. If you're doing it responsibly, you're not going out there making fantastic claims and accusations and going after family members of the president. You're following actual evidence and then drawing conclusions. In this case, they're making the conclusions first and trying to back that up with evidence later.
Okay, I see your point. So, Michael, Congressman Eric Swalwell, one of the 3 Democrats expected to be kicked off committees by Republicans, not for making false or offensive statements like those demoted Republicans did back in 2021, but seemingly more as an act of revenge, right? Take a listen to what he told MSNBC about the new assignments for those far-right Republicans.
What you're seeing here is a party that barely won the House, lost the Senate. Kevin McCarthy took 15 votes, to become Speaker. He doesn't have political capital. He has a political deficit. He's not delivering on inflation, gas, grocery costs, healthcare, border, crime, all the things he told the voters he would deliver on. They have created a law firm, Insurrection LLC, and they're just going to carry out Donald Trump's grievances.
Wow, Insurrection LLC. So do you agree, Michael, do these assignments undercut the credibility of these investigations?
I mean, I don't know if they do, because I agree with the fact that Kevin McCarthy doesn't have much of a majority. I agree with the fact that Kevin McCarthy pretty much gave away everything to become Speaker. No one is surprised by that who understands Washington politics, but nevertheless, they were given the House. Now, we could argue whether or not Democrats could have done more. We could argue whether or not Republicans changing certain voting laws and requirements in certain southern states had an impact and ultimate implication. We can argue all of those things, but they won. And so with that said, I think the expectation for most of the American people, particularly when we think about passing a budget, trying to run the government, continuing to make sure that the economy doesn't crater, the American people expect the Republican Party to issue some form of a legitimacy to say, okay, we're going to pay down the debt, but also keep the government open. But they don't want Republicans to say we're going to crash the government in total, Alex. And so I think Kevin McCarthy has to be very careful here because, again, to the congressman's point, it's a slim majority. It could change in 2 years. And so what I'm more intrigued by, not necessarily what the Lauren Boeberts of the world are going to do, Alex, I'm more intrigued by whether or not Kevin McCarthy will have enough power to actually work with Democrats on some legislative issues, or will he crater completely to some of the more far-right individuals in the party, which will make it even more difficult to govern moving forward over the next 2 years? That, I think, is where we really should pay a lot of attention to.
And I was going to say that I agree with you. That's going to be super interesting to watch. Let's look at Politico, which reports that Biden world is absolutely giddy at Green, Gosar, and Boebert being placed on oversight, with one White House ally calling it a political gift. Is that how you see it, Kurt? Will these far-right Republicans on oversight, will they put Democrats in a better position to combat the investigations?
Well, here's what we know about these cast of characters. 14 of the new members appointed to the Oversight Committee are election deniers. When you put people up there who have shown a penchant to embrace wild, fantastic conspiracy theories not rooted in reality at all, it undermines the credibility of anything that you do as a committee. And what's going to happen when during some of these committee proceedings, these cast of characters say something outlandish, they say something not factual, they just outright lie, get caught, it will undermine the entirety of all of those proceedings. I'm not entirely sure why Republicans think that this is going to be a winning strategy for them. I don't think that when you're trying to cast yourself, and Comer's really doing a lot of this, going out there publicly saying, I want to have serious oversight, I want to be credible, I want to be facts first, but he's not, the members that he's put on his own committee don't embrace that type of style at all. So it very much undermines everything that even he's saying he's going to do. I mean, Eric Swalwell said it right. Insurrection LLC. That's what you see when you look at the members of the Judiciary and the Oversight Committee.
One last question on embattled Republican Congressman George Santos, who was assigned 2 committees, Small Business and Science, Space and Technology, Michael. Right now, he faces federal, state, local, actually an international investigation as well. And fellow Republicans are demanding he resign from Congress. What message does it send that none of that seems to faze Speaker McCarthy?
Well, I mean, look, McCarthy campaigned with him. He also received Santos. He voted for him to become Speaker. And so perhaps, considering how long it took, how many votes it took, and how close and narrow it was, perhaps McCarthy sees some level of loyalty, not to really say much of anything. He's for the most part been pretty quiet here.
Hang on. Do you want George Santos's loyalty? I mean, how does that reflect on you? Not you, but Kevin McCarthy.
Well, look, Alex, I think, no, I get what you're saying. I think from Kevin McCarthy's perspective, Alex, he doesn't really have any room to lose any support from anybody. And I guess we could argue about what that says about Kevin McCarthy's character. And again, it goes to that ultimate argument that even Gates said out of Florida, should someone who's willing to give everything of themselves lead an entire House? Probably not, Alex.
Okay. Thank you for putting it that way. Michael Singleton, Kurt Bardella, always good to see you both. Thanks, guys.